even with the outside noise, it's less than the inside.
Okay, great. Okay, yep. So, David, you ready?
Ready?
Okay. Hi, welcome to the National Critics' Choice Online News. I'm Robin Stienberg. Welcome to our show again. And today we have Mr. David Endrody, who is the Vice President of Sales for Tyndale House Publishing here in the United States. Right now, he's here on a visit to Singapore, and we're having a wonderful time and trying to gather more information about what's happening here in Southeast Asia. But in the meantime, he was actually a former senior executive for the Director of Sales and Director of Account Group, as well as Director of Center of Expertise for the former Amex, which is the American Express Group back in the US. Mr. David, thank you for joining us here.
Thanks, Robin. Glad to be here.
And many have wondered, that you have done so much for Amex for almost 2 decades, if I'm not mistaken, and you have moved on to Tyndale Publishing. And what sort of lessons learned from Amex, that you brought to Tyndale to establish some of the greatest, expertise that you have, on hand from Amex?
Well, 24 years is a long time to be with the company. I get to learn a lot of different things with American Express. Many of them very interesting. 3, I think, come to top of mind for me. The first would be crisis management and being able to steer a company, steer a group through crisis. Being able to understand succession planning and know who is going to be the next person in line for your own position, as you realize that changes need to have to happen in the company. And the third would be change management. Change management as far as consistent change. It's happening all throughout every industry, and how you help to manage your team through that. Those are 3 probably general areas that I learned the most from.
And you spoke about crisis management, consistency, and able to follow up, the way the management styles and the philosophy for the entire company itself. What would be the most memorable experience that you have faced while you're running Amex, and that you have learned so far? What are the 3 key lessons that you learned that has actually impact and brought these lessons along to Tyndale, and has these 3 lessons that you learned implemented over at Tyndale House?
Well, we can talk about these 3 areas. The first area that I wanted to even mention would probably be crisis management, in terms of American Express was right next to the World Trade Center when it imploded on 9/11/2001. That taught me a lot in being able to see the example of senior executives, all the way from the chairman to the next 2nd and 3rd tier managers, and how they handle crisis. The one thing that I saw, first of all, was that people remained calm in that situation. It was incredible to watch a manager have an understanding, a full understanding of the situation, knowing the gravity of it, how many people were affected by it. In that 9/11 situation, 4,600 people were at risk with American Express, and 11 were dead. That was a situation that really called for calm at the time, so it could spread out all the way throughout the entire organization, so that other managers, such as my level, would be 4 and 5 groups down from the senior officer, could be able to handle their team in a calm way as well. Secondly, would be communication. Being able to tell everyone the context with which you are acting, meaning this is the rationale for which I'm acting, this is why we are having to do what we are doing, and then moving ahead and following through on that in a very consistent manner. But while also following back with people and making sure that they were okay during a crisis as well. It was really important to make sure that communication was happening in a consistent manner and a constant manner. Making sure the quality of that communication was good, that it was accurate, and that people overall felt that they were a part of the process. That way, people did not panic themselves, and they stayed in control and able to actually manage the company through it.
Now, how can Tyndale learn these lessons from your experience? Have you implemented certain policies such as risk management crisis, even in terms of the way it's been communicated, communication line and hierarchy?
While we haven't really had in my 5 years tenure with Tyndale any really major crises as such. I think the most interesting one that we were planning for, that we all got involved and sat in a room and talked about, was a very controversial book that we came out with called The Son of Hamas, and it was the story of a man who basically recanted his faith and came to Christianity. And we were concerned about repercussions from the Muslim world. And so we had started to plan around our headquarters what things needed to possibly be ready, we needed to be ready to do for security, possibly be ready against any type of an attack or anything like that might happen. So that was the only crisis management I would say that was that happened in that 5-year period. We crafted a plan. We all together contributed to it. And then we presented the steps that we actually took. It was everything from not being able to enter certain places to reporting anything that was really highly unusual that was around our building that was not normal. So being able to take some of those things over, developing a plan that was comprehensive, and developing a plan that was bringing in everyone, involving everyone, important concepts to do.
Now, what kind of challenges do you see ahead for Tyndale Publishers? Being the director of sales as vice president, do you see Tyndale facing a very tough competition in terms of the emergence of e-book, Amazon being one of the largest bookstores in the world, and do you think the print version is going to phase out in the near future?
Those are all good questions, Robin. I think, first of all, Amazon is one of our largest customers. At the same time, they could end up being one of our largest competitors, depending on which way they go. They've had discussions about allowing authors to come in and for them to be able to offer them monies, royalties, to be advanced royalties, to be able to publish with them. And then they would outsource many of the services that we actually do as a publisher and be a direct competitor with us. That is always a possibility. So it's very interesting that on one hand we rely on them for a lot of sales volume, and on the other hand they could actually take some of the sales volume from us by actually being a competitor. So with the advent of technology and what's happening in publishing, I think it's been really interesting to just continue to watch and see how fast as Mark Taylor would talk about, our CEO, the tectonic plates of publishing changing very quickly, shifting very quickly. We're not really sure what technology will bring next. It's very interesting to watch and see. But the one thing I don't feel threatened about is the fact that I don't think print books are going away. You asked that question. I think there is going to be a leveling out. I think there are still people that I talk to every day that really enjoy print books. They enjoy the feel and even enjoy the smell of print books. And there's something special about that they probably will not give up. Some people buy print books and also buy ebooks as well for when they travel, so they don't have to carry that ebook, or they have to carry a print book with them. At the same time, they like the ability to put a classic book on their shelf, keep it, offer it to someone else, and just to enjoy it at home by a fire and just to enjoy the aesthetics of that. So from that aspect, we see ebooks continually advancing. They are growing quickly, but we're also seeing that slowing down just a bit. And we think possibly ebooks will eventually level out. We just don't know at what level it will be.
Now, speaking of challenges, and ebooks itself, do you think that Amazon is going to face probably questions on conflict of interest? Because they know how much they're selling, they know who your authors are, and if they were to cut the red tape and approach your authors or whoever else, do you think that the publishers like yourself will be adding some measures to protect your authors being poached or recruited by Amazon?
I think the best thing that Tyndale can do and that all of our competitors can do is to provide the best possible services to our authors. We have terrific staff. Our people, one thing I've learned in the last 5 years, our people are phenomenal. We provide great services for our authors in terms of editorial, in terms of public relations, in terms of our sales group even, the group that I lead, and the many different aspects, design, covers, everything like that. We feel if we offer really a high quality product, we think that'll be our best competition. And in that, we're willing to compete in the marketplace even with someone like an Amazon. So no, we're not afraid of Amazon. I think overall, we'll stand by the things that we know to do, and that's present a high quality product and do it at a fair price and do it in a way that is honest and Christ-like. I feel in that way that we're at our best competitive edge now.
How important is this for someone of your faith, as a Christian, being a leader, vice president of sales in the marketplace? How important it is for you today, the kind of principles that you have to apply, as well as for your team in terms of the way you run your business? Is there any 3 points that you could give the importance of running a team which they can look up to your leader with a lot of respect, despite of the very difficult situations or decisions that we had to make?
I think being a Christian, being a leader are to some people a challenge. To some people it's even conflicting. But it starts with a company that overall stands for Christ. So it's even easier than it is with some other firms that other Christian leaders have to deal with. I'm with the firm that upholds Jesus Christ first. So we've got a situation where everything I do as a leader that upholds Christ is really never in conflict. It's never questioned because we all march, if I will, to the same drum. If I can use that vernacular, we all move the same way. If I'm doing something and it is against a principle that's in the Bible, I hope someone at the company calls me on that and says, you haven't worked in an appropriate way here. Whereas if I am working in a way, in a Christ-like manner, or in something that is biblical, as I handle one of my people or handle a customer, and it is within a biblical basis, I don't have to worry about the company challenging that. They'll stand behind me. And that's been the best thing about Tyndale. I felt totally supported and totally stood behind throughout my 5 years with them.
What's next for you as the vice president of sales at Tyndale House Publishing? What kind of trends do you see the kind of consumer behavior in the market are going to respond to? Do you think? You have seen many different cultures, right across the world. There's a lot of differences between north, south, east, and west. Is your company, Tyndale House Publishing, able to adapt quickly enough, and resilient enough to different markets?
I think one of the beauties that Tyndale has is that we have 260 employees versus many of the large publishers out there. I look at ourselves as being a very small boat who can turn very rapidly versus a large steamship who maybe has to get permission from many different aspects of many different companies that may own them in order to move. We move very quickly. A great example of that is on the ebook side, how many people we've now added in that department to build our ebook section. And we've done that in a way that's been very quick and in a way that's been very responsive in the marketplace. So I think Tyndale in many aspects is very competitive to be able to handle the challenges that are coming about because we can move very quickly. So I'm pleased about that. You asked me about some of the trends I see. I'm from a Christian publishing standpoint, I'm still excited. One trend that I see is that the Bible is not fading. The Bible has a place and it will have a place for all time. And that's one thing that's most exciting to me. And the best job security is I realize there is a place. The Scripture is forever. And we'll continue to produce that for as long as we stand by the principles with which we were founded. Secondly, I think trends are that people are still looking for good content. And as long as our content is good and we continue to find the best content out there, people will buy our books. And that's despite the competition or the type of competition it is. If we have the best content, it will not matter even if it's an ebook or a print book or where it's at, we will be able to sell it. And we've proven that throughout the years with some of the best books that we have.
Including the one year in the Bible.
Including the one-year Bible, absolutely.
Now, what sort of criteria do you set for yourself and your team when it comes to good content? How do you spot a good content?
You know, we have a great acquisitions team, and they bring us, as a staff, the sales team and the acquisitions team get together once a week. And normally we have about 4 to 6 titles that we look at every week. So we publish around 150 to 170 titles a year. So that tells you that we are somewhat selective in which books actually get to print versus the ones that we come to see us. We have a meeting every Monday that we have a discussion with our acquisitions people about preferences on a title, whether we feel the content is appropriate for Tyndale, whether we feel the book could sell in the marketplace that we represent as salespeople, and suggestions on either style or a content that we feel might help the book. And then our acquisitions team would take that information and graciously not get upset about that, but actually go back, take it into consideration, and maybe make adjustments in that book to make it better. And that's how we've worked as a staff, and that communication, I think, makes us unique and makes us special as a publisher.
Well, thank you, David, for joining us. And today, yet still, the Bible is one of the best-selling books, at the house. Is that correct?
The number one, and it's the best.
One.
If you put the Bible in on the New York Times bestseller list, it still would be the number one book of all time. So.
And folks at the National Critics' Choice watching this show, the Bible is still the number one bestseller of all time, and it still is at the house, the Living Bible. And thank you for joining me to understanding the mind of the Vice President of Tyndale Sales, that's David Endrody himself. What is it like to work there, and understand the principles of working, the inner circles of getting your work published, that is. And once again, have a great week ahead, and don't forget to look up at our YouTube channel, the National Critics' Choice Show, and have a great week. Thanks.
Thank you.
It will be edited and all that. How does it feel, David? Sorry, Mark.
Good.
You sure?
Okay.
Better.